So this one, for instance, is kind of a retro vibe. It's kind of like a World War II bobber, but with a twist and inspiration from like Mad Max. So it's quite a gnarly bike. It's got the kick-up pipes, it's got the 3-inch over Willy Jeep tyres. So kind of stuff that shouldn't really roll together, a kind of no-no bike.
I think the retro or classic bikes is as big as it's ever been and getting bigger. Look, I think the bikes were a lot more difficult to ride in those days, and I think that's part of the attraction of why people like the 500s, because there was no electronic controls, there was no traction control. The only traction control you had was your wrist and your mind. And, you know, I'm intrigued by the modern day bikes, and these modern day riders are intrigued by the older bikes.
Norton t-shirt. We'll be acquainted with the heroics of these British motorcycles. Senior 2-2 with the run, so let me get over the way.
I asked my wife if it was allowed to come to a motorcycle show, and she said yes, but I want to come too, so here we are. You should say I'm a Norton nutter, maybe. Yeah.
I think a lot of people have a particular passion for Norton because of its racing heritage. Norton were massively successful on the Isle of Man, for instance, and so there's that TT history. And so I think for a lot of people that were growing up in that era, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, etc., when Norton were very successful at racing, I think that that really resonates with people.
Leather linkage train.
Yeah.
Cylinder run.
When motorcycles were sort of changing from being bicycles with engines to motorcycles, well, we can see that this is virtually a bicycle frame with a motorcycle with an engine fitted.
Here we go, we're on the start of the tour, 6 laps underway. We go down the first corner. Walker loses out. It's Mackenzie who takes the wide line as he is now leading. Whittam's got the inside line. Whittam goes in wide, leaves the door open. Walker goes through to lead from third position up to through. Nothing between them. One more lap to go. McGuinness, bit of a moment.
Flat track just, it allows you to be fairly happy with the bike sliding, the wheels not in line, and more than anything else it teaches you about throttle control. The only way that you don't spin out, or to get the bike sliding you've got to open the throttle, to stop it going right round you've got to close the throttle, but it's somewhere in between. It's all about being having a little bit of finesse with the throttle.
Mackenzie next up with the greater. Whittam goes down, and they all have to take avoiding action. So Whittam's out of the front running for this one. Mackenzie's next up.
That's all right, pretty cool. That's all right, I mean, yeah, you know, it's great. It's not a problem for me, they get faster. So when they get slow, I'll start worrying about it.
The Tiger 800 in the Triumph range is the bike that's best to do absolutely everything. You could commute around the M25 on it. We've made the bike more fuel efficient for this year, 17% more efficient than the previous model. What does that really mean? It means you can do 200 miles on a tank, so commuting's great.